Jhon Donne, an 18th century poet and philosopher. His most famous verse here written in 1624, the poet coins the phrase, "No man is an island," to highlight that all human life is interconnected and that we share responsibility for each other. The term metaphysical poets was coined by the critic Samuel Johnson to describe a loose group of 17th century English poets whose work was characterized by inventive use of conceits and by a greater emphasis on the spoken rather than lyrical quality of their verse. Jhon Donne lived from 1572 to 1631. He was known as Metaphysical Poet. He was born in London in 1572 into a Roman Catholic family, which was a religious minority in England at that time. His family faced financial difficulties and he was raised by his mother after his father died when he was 4 years old. Jhon Donne studied at Oxford University and then pursued legal studies at Links in London. However, he did not complete his degree and instead devoted himself to literature and poetry. Jhon Donne secretly married Annie Moore, the niece of his employer, Sir Thomas Egerton. This marriage caused him to face financial and legal difficulties, as both families disapproved. Despite these challenges, the couple had 12 children. Donne belonged to the Anglican Church, but he later converted to Catholicism. His religious conversion had a significant impact on his poetry and writing, reflecting his spiritual journey. Jhon Donne is known for his metaphysical poetry, a style that explores complex themes of love, spirituality, and relationship between the physical and metaphysical. His poems often certain elaborate metaphors and intellectual exploration. In addition to poetry, Donne also wrote satires and sermons. His satires characterized social and political issues of his time, while his sermons reflected his religious beliefs and were highly regarded for their rhetorical skill. In 1621, Jhon Donne was appointed as the Dean of St. Paul's Cathedral in London. He delivered sermons that attracted large audience and earned him a reputation as a powerful and eloquent speaker. Much of Donne's poetry was not published during his lifetime. After his death, his son published a collection of his works titled Poems by J.D. with elegies J.D. with elegies on the author's death in 1633. His publication helped popularize his poetry. Jhon Donne Jhon Donne's poetry continues to be celebrated for its intellectual depth, passionate emotions, and intricate use of language. His work has had a lasting influence on English literature. Donne received an education at Oxford and Cambridge but could not graduate from either due to his Catholic faith. He began his career as a lawyer but soon shifted to a more literary path. Donne is known for his intricate and intellectually challenging poetry. His works often explores themes of love, religion, death, and human condition. Some of his famous poems include The Flea, The Valediction, Forbidding Mourning, and Death Be Not Proud. Donne converted to Anglicanism and became an ordained Anglican priest in his later years. He served as a royal chaplain and delivered sermons that are still highly regarded for his eloquence and depth of thought. John Donne's life and work mark the transition from the Elizabethan era to the metaphysical poetry of the Jacobean period. He died in 1631, leaving a significant impact on English literature with his unique style and exploration of complex ideas. Jhon Donne's poetry is renowned for its metaphysical nature, characterized by intellectual and philosophical exploration, complex conceits, and confusion of emotion and wit. Metaphysical poetry refers to a poetic style that merged during the 17th century, a style that explores complex themes of love, spirituality, and the relationship between the physical and the metaphysical. This poetic style was characterized by its use of complex and intellectualized metaphors, unconventional rhyme schemes, and a focus on exploring physical, philosophical, and spiritual themes. Metaphysical poets such as Jhon Donne and Andrew Marvell often is that his poetry delves into abstract and intellectual themes, connecting the spiritual and the physical and employing elaborate conceits to convey his ideas. Donne is often considered one of the foremost metaphysical poets. His love poetry is both passionate and intellectual. In works like The Flea and A Valediction, Forbidding Morning, he explores the complexities of love, often using unconventional metaphors and wordplay to convey his feelings. Third most important aspect of his poetry was his religious beliefs. His poems, such as holy sonnets, grapple with themes of sin, salvation, and faith. Fourth, conceits. Jhon Donne is known for his use of metaphysical conceits, which are extended and elaborate metaphors and comparisons that link seemingly unrelated ideas. These conceits are a hallmark of his poetry and add layers of complexity to his work. Fifth, more important aspect of his poetry was paradox and irony. Donne frequently employs paradoxical and ironical statements in his poetry. This technique challenges readers to think deeply about the contradiction and complexities of life, love, and faith. And his poetic style. Jhon Donne's style is characterized by Jhon Donne authored numerous famous works that continue to be celebrated in the world of English literature. His most famous poems are The Flea. This poem uses a flea as a metaphor to explore the idea of physical and spiritual union in a romantic relationship. Second important poem is A Valediction, Forbidding Morning. In this poem, Jhon Donne beautifully compares the separation of lovers to the separation of a compass, emphasizing the enduring connection between their souls. Number 3, Holy Sonnets. The collection of religious poems contains some of Donne's most powerful and introspective most powerful works, including Death Be Not Proud and Better My Heart, 3% God. Number 4, Donne explores the idea that love between two individuals can be so intense and scared that it becomes a form of con- canonization or sanctification. Sanctification. Meditation, fifth important poem of Jhon Donne is Meditation 17th. From his prose work, Devotions upon Emergent Occasions, this meditation includes the famous lines, "No man is an island," and reflects on the interconnectedness of humanity. Sixth important poem of Jhon Donne is Elegy 19. To his mistress going to bed. This erotic poem is known for its sensual and vivid language expressing the speaker's desire for his lover. 7. The Good Morrow. Donne contemplates the transformative power of love in this poem, suggesting that true love awakens one's soul from a state of ignorance. And eighth important poem of Jhon Donne is Nocturnal upon St. Lucy's Day. In this reflective poem, Donne mourns the death of a young woman and explores themes of spiritual awakening and loss. These are just a few of Jhon Donne's famous works, showcasing his versatility as a poet and his ability to explore a wide range of themes from love and desire to religion and mortality. His poetry remains an enduring and influential part of English literature history,